Again, this is Mario with Elevation Blueprint. To find out more about our programs, our organization, or to become a donor, go to blueprintlife.org. Okay, in our last video, we went through a basic tutorial on the home button here and some of the layouts, some of the buttons that you would use just to start out with. And it's a great practice to get familiar with because, as I've said before, this toolbar will look very familiar when you use other Microsoft Office products like Excel, PowerPoint, and other programs that are available. So let's get on to the next one. Now this will be a little bit shorter video because I felt this was needed to be a little bit, it's similar in that it's part of a toolbar, but it's also its own kind of entity that we need to go over separately. So from last time we just used basic word like hello. Now I want to explain to you. So the font size, font, the bold, italics, all that stuff that we went over before, we were going up to the home tab here and clicking there and making changes, okay? But there's also a quick access toolbar which allows you, instead of having to go all the way up every single time, as we saw in the previous video, you can now make changes here. So one of the things we'll do, and it's good practice to get into, is selecting. So I want to change the font, the size, and color of this word here. So one way to do that would be to double click. Now you can see the gray area here around that word. Now once I did that, did you see this little box that popped up? This here is the same as what was on the home tab when we would go back. Okay? So once we double click, it immediately pops up. So here we can make changes. We click the little arrow here to bring up our menu. And as you notice, if you can see off here to the left, it actually changes as I go through. Okay? So once I find a font that I like, I'll go ahead and select it. Okay? And it changed the font. Let's change the size. Let's do 28. Okay? Now, remember, all of this area was up here in the home tab. So remember, you can use either this area here for the numbers, or you can increase or decrease step by step. So there you go. As you can see, it changes the numbers for you. Because a lot of this is just by how you, the look and what you feel is right for you. Right? So sometimes instead of guessing what number you should use, these increase and decrease here kind of help out because we can just eyeball it, right? All right, so now we're there. I can also make it bold, italicize it, and underline it, okay? And one other thing that I wanted to do was change the color. So that's the great thing, is I'm moving around, I can find a color that I like, all right? There we go. So I went ahead and changed it. Now you notice it went away when I clicked out of it. And it doesn't come around. So one of the things I want to do, remember, is to select the word. Okay? So you can either hold your left mouse button, and as you're holding it, you're moving the mouse across and selecting it that way. Or what I like to do is just double click it. Okay? Now the double click makes it a little bit tougher when you have a whole page of words, only because sometimes you may only want to highlight one word out of it. So remember, if you have a lot of text on your page, it may be better to just highlight the word or paragraph that you want to use, that you want to make changes to. Now if you want to make changes to the whole page, go ahead and just double click and it'll select everything. Okay? In some of the next units we'll also go over some keyboard shortcuts that'll be your best friend, trust me. All right, so we'll go ahead and move on, and we'll see you in the next unit.